warriors are going to the evil forest.
So this is Ibo's village. When we first on a farmland here, there are lots of stories I heard. Some even said if the mermaid likes you, she'll drop a fish for you in the stream as you're crossing. The fish will be dancing around a stone. So if you pick the fish, you take it to somebody in the village, that very village that you know. The person will cut off the head and take while you eat the remaining part. So if you don't actually show anybody the fish, that you have these bumps on your skin all over your body. I don't know
So
how
you're out of
true
the
it is.
water side, heading to the farm. No. Guess what is this? What's the English name? I don't even know. So here is the plant.
So in my language, we
No,
call this fruit udiainuen.
It's actually for birds. That is birds' feet. Birds always it's birds' feet though. If you have to translate it directly from our language, because it's birds that eat them. It's actually sweet. I've actually missed all of these fruits, right? The farm is actually still far, so we'll continue when we get there. While I look out for some wild fruits. We call it aye in my place. Is actually to prevent thieves from stealing your cassava. But obviously in this farm, I don't think there's any cassava again, or maybe there is. So the owner decided to put that up. So I've actually told my mom to do the same, but she's a Christian, blah blah blah. Says well, so we are getting close to the farm. So after the harvest, they are going to leave this part of the bush, because it's going to be bush after the harvest, for 7 years, while farming the other parts of the village. Like I said, this village, they are blessed with a whole lot of land. They have limited numbers of people staying here.
So we are here in the farm, okay? Why? I know you wonder which type of cassava will stay that long that you harvest it and it'll still be good. Now it depends on the type of stem you're using. The one my mom likes using is black stem. We call it abobedek boiwa. The red stem is the one that generates. I mean, how should I say it? That you can harvest faster,
No.
but this one can stay for
So
a year
we are here
without
to
spoiling.
harvest cassava. The other one is to weed. What happens is we always have 3 sets of farm. The one we just plant, the one that has started okay, I'm coming, Joe. The one we went to weed, that's the second phase of the weeding I mentioned in my video. If you've watched how to weed, I mentioned these things there. So this is the third one. So this is the one we are going to harvest now. While the other one is growing. So after this one is finished, by then, because we have lots of farms, by then that one must have been really, really matured. We now move to that one. By then, another farm will be out. We start planting. So it goes on like that, like that, like that. So this is an old farm, as you can see. The trees have grown, and thank you very much. So after the harvest, I'm going to show you the cassava we get from here. It really looks scary, but there are things inside. So this we are going to find the egg for the prince in the evil forest. Thank you, Noah. So you clear the place you want to harvest.
So how you harvest is you hold the stem on the bed, like the down part. So when you drag it, if you feel weight of the cassava by your right, you pull it towards your left. But if it's on both sides, there is always this part that will not have cassava. So you pull it towards that side. So that way it will pull out the cassava without breaking it into the soil. But even if it breaks, you can always find it. No, that's just it.
Maybe how you do it. So you use matches. You dig it. When they harvest yam, so you dig it. Clear this one. That's what you call it. Once you drag it first, it's going to cut. So you pass it. That's what we've harvested so far. So after that, you check. You just put matches around. Then how if you cut something, you know that you cut something.
The best time to harvest is actually in the morning, very early in the morning, because by then the soil will still be soft due to the dew. And also, if it rained, that's the best time to harvest. We actually waited till the sun came out, as you can see. That's why it's looking like this. So, if you go very early in the morning, you won't even feel the stress. It's always easy as you're dragging it, it's coming out, and all that. Doesn't mean that you will not still look for it after harvesting. Of course, after bringing out the ones you've seen, you can still just pushing the machete into the soil to check if you see cassava in there, because some used to cut in and you won't even notice. So you just hit the machete into the soil and you hear a sound of, when it cuts cassava or not. That's just it. Another reason why the cassavas will still be good for usage after a year or in a year period is because during second stage of weeding, you must have cut out the mature cassavas. Like in my video I posted, you notice that while weeding, the mature ones are above the soil, or the ones that are above the soil, you must have cut them by mistake or deliberately. So by leaving the stem, and when it rains, the stem will bring out new cassava, or the smaller ones will keep growing until it reaches this period where you harvest it. You might be disappointed by the size of the cassava we harvested. The black stem doesn't really yield bigger cassava like that. Although if it's a good soil, like a very rich soil, you may find bigger ones, but not that big compared to other stems.
Portion and so all these places.
Why we prefer the black stem is because it has low moisture content. As in, you can't compare with other stem like that red one or agric, or I remember there's even pioneer stem. So those ones has high moisture content, as in
Join together now. Let's say power of three. As we arranging cassava, okay, this way I'm on I just lifted my head and I saw afang. This is afang. That's when they used to cook. I think the Igbos call it okasi. So this is the leaf. This is the bush own. It's always very sweet. You can see how big the leaves are. Oh Jesus. I'm just happy. So yeah, come come up video no come come put our print it. So like I said, this is an old bush. So wild fruits will be here, and of course a lot of things will be here too. And you can even find bushmeat here. Bushmeat. Yeah, thank you. That's all. So we're done at the farm. I'm heading to the stream. Heading to the stream. Heading. Ooh, so chill. So there's a road there leading to the male side. This is actually the children's side. The female side is that road. That side leads to the female side. This side leads to the male side. This is the children's side. Because it's not deep. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to manage this one.
One of the reasons I love coming to farm day when I was in the village is because this village is surrounded by stream. All their farms, you always find stream to cross. So after farming, you can always see different people. That's why I love
You!
So we are home. After peeling, you wash it, because this one is for Garri. After peeling, you wash. After washing, you take it. You take it to engine for grinding. After grinding, you pack it in a bag. Then take it to you take it to machine where it will be pressed out, where fermentation will take place. So you press it, for example, after peeling it that night, after grinding it that night, you press it till the following day. So this is the following day's night, where you sieve it. I'm so sorry, I think I misplaced the part where we were sieving it, but somebody was sieving it while I'm frying it. So how you fry it is, you can see The moment you put it in the pot, you keep stirring it. But when it looks like it will be too powdery, you leave it, you spread it in the pot for a while and allow it to form some seeds. Because Garri that doesn't have seed doesn't rise. It's always like, it's always floating. So we like it when it has seed, and the the heat should be moderate. So you keep stirring it until you feel you have gotten the particles you want. Then you add oil, because once you add oil, it will not form seeds again. That's what I noticed. That's what my mom taught us to. So you put oil after you've already achieved the particles you want. Then you keep adding and frying. But the adding, it should be in the stage where others are still wet, not when some are dried and you start adding it. So you keep frying it until it's very dry, because this Garri can take me for 7 months. I've actually kept it for 7 months before, because that's why I love frying it myself, or any Garri that my mom is sending to me. We always fry it at home so that it can stay, so that the process will be okay too. So how you know it is ready as you're frying is you will be perceiving this Garri. It will have this Garri aroma. Then secondly, it will be so light as you're throwing it around the pot. It will be very light and it will create this light sound. So another reason why I know in Lagos here we have this Garri called Garri Jebo. It's always sour when you sip it. That's because they ferment it for up to 3 days. So the period of fermentation determine how sour it is. Like this one, it will be very crispy and sweet. Now the problem where we are going to have issue is people prefer the sour Garri because they feel it has low sugar content. Now that's for people that doesn't want sugar, because at the end of the day you still add Garri you still add sugar to Garri to sip. So why not just enjoy it? Why do you have to make it so sour? Like, I don't like that sour Garri. Seriously, I don't love it. Apart from the fact that it doesn't even have seed, it's so finely fried. So I prefer my village Garri. So if you've tested this Garri before, you will feel the difference, especially if you are sipping it out. Trust me, you will love it. Even if you're chewing it, you can even chew it and you'll be so satisfied. So I love our method. I love it.
I hope I'm not confusing some people when I keep saying fermentation period. Okay, the period I'm talking, I mean the fermentation stage. It's just a stage that after you grind, you bring it back home, or they press it in the engine. In the olden days, they usually use stone to press it. But we have this engine, when you put it in a bag, in a tight sack bag, you tie the mouth, use the engine accessories to place on the bag before you press it to dry properly.